All right, let's unpack this. Imagine, if you will, a quiet, late night in Venice.
That kind of hush you only get there.
Exactly. The city sleeps, but one woman is wide awake. She's middle-aged, seems poised, ordinary on the outside.
Right.
And in her beach bag, she's carrying this object. A grapefruit-sized rock.
Not just any rock, though.
No, not just any rock. It's from a beach vacation years ago. Her son used it to teach her how to throw like a boy. Kind of poignant, really.
Yeah, there's a story baked into it already.
So she walks into this deserted square, Campo Manon, stops right in front of a travel agency window, and she just smashes it.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah. Why? I mean, what pushes someone to do that? And more importantly, what happens when that single act, maybe by someone you even know, kicks off something? Well, something way more sinister than anyone expected.
Well, what's truly fascinating here, I think, isn't just the vandalism itself. It's how fast something like that, something seemingly isolated, can just rip back the curtain on layers of hidden corruption.
Yeah.
Personal, systemic, it's all tangled up. This deep dive, it's not just about a broken window. It's really a look at that messy place where personal morality crashes into the legal system.
And the fallout from that crash.
Exactly. The unexpected, sometimes devastating consequences. We'll explore how this woman's very calculated act, born from this deep, almost righteous anger, forces a police commissario, basically, a chief of police.
A reluctant one, too.
A reluctant but honorable one, yeah, to face not just breaking and entering, but this much larger, truly horrifying criminal enterprise.
Yeah.
Something built on human suffering.
And today we're diving into a fictional narrative, Fatal Remedies by Donna Leon, but it feels so real, doesn't it? Almost like a case study.
It really does.
It lets us dig into the why behind the character's actions, the ripple effects of one person's convictions with this incredible depth. We'll uncover some surprising stuff about the dark side of such a beautiful city and see how the search for justice, well, it can take some really strange and dangerous turns. So let's get into the specifics, because the details here are they're what make it so compelling.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's start right there with the act itself. This wasn't, a spur-of-the-moment thing.
No, clearly not.
This woman, Paola Brunetti, she chose her moment carefully. 3:15 a.m., Campo Manon, deserted.
Very specific.
And she chose that rock, the one that sat on her desk for years, a reminder of her son. She even pauses, thinks her life might be divided in half by what she's about to do.
A point of no return.
Yeah, but then she kind of dismisses it, calls it melodramatic self-importance. But still, she feels this force pushing her, thinking that's what all this is about, the destruction of peace. What does that tell you about her state of mind?
It speaks volumes, doesn't it? About how deep her conviction runs and her composure. It's frankly striking. When the police show up, and remember, it's 3:15 in the morning, this isn't your average call.
Right.
She just calmly admits it, owns it completely. When they ask for a description of the person who did it, she describes herself.
Almost chillingly.
Yeah. Early 40s, blonde hair, shoulder length, tan coat, brown boots. The officers are confused, naturally, until they realize, but you're describing yourself, Senora.
It's not panic, it's a statement.
Exactly. It's deliberate. Sets the stage right away for the personal stakes. No ambiguity. She meant to do this, and she wants them to know it. It's like she's throwing down a gauntlet.
And that challenge gets intensely personal really fast. Imagine the shock for the arresting officer, Ruberti, when he finally looks at her ID card.
Oh, boy.
Paola Brunetti. Jesus Christ, you're Brunetti's wife.
A commissario's wife. Oof.
Can you imagine making that call, waking up your boss, Commissario Brunetti, from some weird dream about hippos on a beach, this image of total peace?
Only to shatter it.
Completely. He's hit with anger, fear, rushes straight to the Questura, the police headquarters. His own wife is being held there. This isn't just a professional headache. It feels like a betrayal.
It absolutely is. A profound personal crisis on top of the professional one. And it immediately makes you ask, right? Why? Why would a woman like her, the wife of a senior police officer, do something so extreme, so public?
Yeah. What's the backstory?
Well, we find out Brunetti remembers her rage, the passion she'd have in arguments, often about injustices happening far away.
Things that felt abstract to him, maybe?
Perhaps. And she'd told him her philosophy pretty clearly. It's got to be made to cost them more to do it than to stop. Until then, nothing will happen.
So this wasn't out of the blue for him, not entirely.
The sentiment wasn't no. Her actions, breaking the window, they come directly from that deep moral outrage. A belief that, the normal ways, the legal ways, just weren't cutting it. She wanted to force a confrontation.
And that really sets up the core conflict.
It really does. It puts her and Brunetti on this inevitable collision course.
So when Brunetti finally sees Paola at the Questura, that tension, between her personal conviction and his legal duty, it's almost thick enough to cut.
You can feel it.
And she doesn't back down one bit, just states it plainly. I told you I was going to do it. She's talking about her long-held anger towards places she thinks enable sex tourism.
And her proposed solution is, well, it's radical.
It is. She says, imagine if all the women in Italy went out at night with stones and broke the windows of every travel agency that organized sex tours.
Then they'd stop pretty quickly.
There wouldn't be any sex tours organized in Italy, would there? It's this call for mass civil disobedience, really. A refusal to just stand by.
And this is exactly where Brunetti, the man of law, just can't follow her. He argues back hard.
He brings up her past stances, right?
Yeah, he reminds her about her opposing the church, trying to ban contraceptives. Says, essentially, you were on the other side then, arguing against people doing exactly what you claim the right to do now. He sees it as hypocrisy.
And he gets angry. You feel his frustration.
Oh, yeah. His rage flares. Maybe partly because he feels like she's dismissing his whole career, his whole life's work, built on upholding the law. He snaps, I'm a policeman, for God's sakes. What do you want me to do except obey the law and enforce it?
It's this fundamental clash, isn't it? His duty to the letter of the law versus her sense of a higher moral imperative.
A deep, deep chasm opening right there between them.
But even with all that anger, all his professional principles screaming at him, his loyalty to her is still there. You see it, right?
It's undeniable.
He initially tried to muddy the waters with Riburi, didn't he? Lied, basically. Said there was some confusion about what Paola meant. Maybe she wasn't thinking clearly.
Trying to protect her, even instinctively.
But Paola, she won't have it. She calls him out instantly. You told him there was some confusion, but he knows, and you do, and I do, exactly what I meant and what I did.
That fierce honesty again.
Yeah. And that internal battle for Brunetti, his job versus his wife, it's so human. It's relatable, that tightrope walk between professional duty and personal loyalty.
Absolutely. And the fallout goes way beyond just arguments or professional headaches. The book calls it a sort of discord between them. You feel it.
How so?
Our intimacy, the easy familiarity they had, it's just gone, shattered. There's this description of physical distance between them in bed, how a simple touch could have been that of a stranger.
Ouch. That's powerful imagery.
It really is. And even a kiss becomes painful. He gets a cut lip from a tiny shard of glass still on her, maybe.
Yeah.
A very literal symbol of the damage done.
Not just to the window, but to their relationship.
Exactly. It makes you ask, what's the real personal cost of sticking to your guns, especially when it puts you at odds with the people you love most?
And of course, something like this, the wife of a commissario smashing a window in Venice, it doesn't stay quiet.
Not a chance. The press descends.
Oh, yeah. Total media frenzy. Brunetti gets slapped with administrative leave almost immediately. Professional limbo.
Career on the line.
And the front page of the local paper, Il Gazzettino, has his picture right next to Paola's ID photo. The headline basically calls her a hysterical feminist just looking for attention.
Ugh. Reducing her entire motivation to that.
Exactly. Reporters are everywhere camping outside the Questura, outside their apartment, just vultures looking for scraps. It adds this whole other layer of pressure.
And that pressure cooker environment is when things take a truly dark turn.
Right, because it escalates dramatically.
It does. Dottor Mitri, the owner of the travel agency Paola, targeted, he's found murdered.
Strangled in his own kitchen.
Yeah. And nearby there's a note made from cutout letters, like in the movies.
Chillin'.
And the message. Well, it's vile, accusing him and others of being involved in child exploitation and threatening more deaths. It instantly throws the whole case into a much more dangerous light.
And immediately connects back to Paola's reasons for breaking the window.
Exactly. Making her look, at least to the public and maybe even some police, like the prime suspect, or at least somehow involved.
And that's got to be everyone's first thought, right? Did Paola's act somehow trigger this? Did she talk to someone, maybe conspire?
That's the immediate fear.
But she denies it vehemently. Says she never discussed it with anyone. It was a completely independent choice.
Purely her own action.
Brunetti, though, he's now terrified. Is it a copycat killer inspired by her? Or worse, could she actually be implicated? He's deeply worried.
Even on leave, he can't just sit back.
No way. It's not in his nature. He starts digging Unofficially. He has to.
And he's not alone, thankfully.
No, he's got his loyal sergeant, Vianello, and, crucially, Signorina Elettra.
Ah, Signorina Elettra, the secret weapon.
Totally. Brunetti calls her their eyes and our nose and the living spirit of our curiosity. She's his boss's secretary, but she can find out anything. She's the real intelligence agent here.
And she proves absolutely invaluable, doesn't she? Brunetti and his little shadow team start peeling back the layers of Mitri's travel agency.
He interviews the manager, Durandi.
Who denies everything at first, naturally. No sex tourism here.
But Brunetti's armed with data, thanks to Elettra. She's found the patterns.
The smoking gun data.
Exactly. Most of the tickets to Bangkok your agency sold, last 6 months anyway, were to men traveling alone. Hard to explain that away.
Durandi has to fold. He admits the tours offer, let's say, tolerant hotel management for liaisons with girls.
So Paola was right about the agency's business. Her initial moral outrage was spot on.
It was, which validates her motive, even if it doesn't clear her of suspicion in the murder just yet.
Okay, but here's where it gets really complex, right? It goes way beyond just sex tourism.
Oh, yeah. This is where Signorina Elettra makes another huge breakthrough. She finds something alarming.
What's that?
Mitri's murder, the strangulation method.
Yeah.
It bears similarities to other cases linked to the mafia.
Wow. Okay, so organized crime might be involved. That's a massive shift.
Huge. Suddenly, this isn't just about one woman's protest or even just Mitri's dodgy tours. And it's not just Elettra. Brunetti gets more crucial info discreetly from his father-in-law.
The Contefolliere. Always useful to have well-connected relatives.
Indeed. He provides details about big money moving through Mitri's foreign bank accounts. Switzerland, Luxembourg, the Channel Islands.
Tax havens, basically.
And the money's coming from places associated with, well, poverty, war, instability. Places where, as Paola had sarcastically noted earlier, you could get cheap Imodium without a prescription.
Hinting at something medical. Or just exploitation.
It paints a picture of a much larger, darker network. And these threads, the mafia link, the money, they start pointing in a new direction. Towards Mitri's brother-in-law, Alessandro Bonaventura. He manages a pharmaceutical factory, Interfar, out in Castelfranco Veneto.
A pharmaceutical factory? How does that connect?
Well, the investigation takes this sharp, chilling turn. They discovered that a known professional killer, a man named Palmieri, was actually on the payroll at Interfar.
Employed by the factory.
Yes. And the police raid on Palmieri's place uncovers a truck. Not full of legit medicine, though.
What was in it?
Outdated drugs. Discontinued ones. Placebos. And worse, horrifyingly fake products. Sugar water labeled as life-saving medicine. Antifreeze in cough syrup bottles.
Oh my God. That's monstrous.
It is. And these weren't meant for Italy. They were destined for aid agencies, shipping out to lands racked by famine, war, and pestilence.
Profiting from the absolute misery of the world's most vulnerable people.
Exactly. An utterly cynical, horrifying scheme. And it clearly involves Bonaventura's operation, likely his foreman Sandy, overseeing the dirty work.
So Mitri wasn't just running sex tours. He was neck deep in this global pharmaceutical fraud.
Deeply involved. And under questioning, Bonaventura spills the whole ugly story. Turns out, Mitri started it.
Mitri initiated the fake medicine scheme.
According to Bonaventura, yes. Mitri had lost his previous factory, some shady dealings there too, apparently. When he bought into Interfar, he brought the rot and corruption with him. He'd invested his own money.
And was using that as leverage.
Precisely. He was basically blackmailing Bonaventura, threatening to call in loans, put his wife's family money out, forcing him to keep the illegal operation going.
Yeah.
Bonaventura felt trapped, facing ruin.
So the motive for murder shifts completely.
Completely. It wasn't about sex tourism or moral outrage. It was cold, hard finance. Bonaventura felt he had no choice but to get Mitri out of the picture permanently.
Wow. What a twist. But how do they prove Bonaventura ordered the hit?
Well, that comes in the final, most unexpected place. Mitri's widow.
She has the key.
Brunetti has to push her. She's grieving, resistant. But eventually, she reveals something she'd kept secret for years. A voice-activated tape recorder hooked up to their home phone.
Why?
Not for business, because she suspected Mitri was cheating on her, which he was.
The irony. Trying to catch infidelity, she catches a murder plot.
Exactly. It's often like that in real cases, isn't it? The crucial clue comes from somewhere totally personal, almost mundane.
So what's on the tape?
Well, amidst all the boring stuff, calls about drapes, Mitri whispering sweet nothings to other women, there's the one critical conversation. The absolute smoking gun.
Tell me.
Bonaventura calls Mitri, arranges to meet him, talk about some papers. Seems normal enough. But then, moments later, the phone rings again. Bonaventura answers. Sounds nervous. Just a sec.
And then,
Another voice comes on the line. Palmieri, the killer. He just says, "It's me. It's done."
chillingly simple.
Followed immediately by Bonaventura, shocked, panicked maybe, hissing, "Get out. Now."
Oh my God. Undeniable.
Irrefutable. It ties Bonaventura directly to ordering the hit through Palmieri. All the threads just snap violently into place right there.
And for Brunetti, hearing that must have been complex.
Immensely complex. On one hand, massive relief, right? That flash of vindication for Paola, proof she had nothing to do with it, not the murder anyway. The fear that his wife was a killer is lifted.
He must have felt ashamed for doubting her.
The text suggests exactly that. A wave of shame. But it's mixed with this profound anguish, maybe even horror, at the sheer scale of depravity that Paola's initial act, her broken window, accidentally uncovered.
Her small protest exposed this monstrous global crime.
Yeah, it confirmed her moral compass in a way, the one he'd maybe dismissed. It's a huge moment for him, a personal and professional reckoning.
So, in the end, Paola is cleared completely.
Completely cleared of any involvement in the murder. Bonaventura and his foreman, Sandy, they're arrested. The whole horrific pharmaceutical scam is blown wide open.
And it all started with one woman, one rock, one window.
Amazing, isn't it? What began as this defiant act against sex tourism unraveled something infinitely larger, deadlier, and with global reach.
This deep dive really does highlight the incredible impact one person's action, driven by moral conviction, can have, even if that action itself is outside the law.
Absolutely. Paola's decision to break that window because she was outraged about child exploitation inadvertently brought down this vast criminal machine trading on suffering across continents. It forces you and Brunetti within the story to really grapple with the limits of the law when faced with these huge moral wrongs. The system often seems too slow or blind.
It really leaves you with a powerful, kind of unsettling thought, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's the real cost of just maintaining order and following the law if it sometimes means ignoring or being unable to address these deep moral injustices that people feel so strongly? And how much are we, just as individuals, willing to risk to disrupt our own peace, our own lives, for something we believe is right, even if it's an abstract?
Indeed. And it pushes us further, I think. When is it right, maybe even necessary, to break a smaller law to expose a much larger, more horrifying evil? And how do we make sure people within the system, people like Brunetti who want to do good, aren't constantly hamstrung?
By bureaucracy or politics.
Or even by the laws they're sworn to uphold. Especially when they're up against these insidious hidden crimes that Paola's act dragged into the light. A question that really sticks with you long after you finish the story. It makes you rethink your own lines, your own responsibilities.